Kajiado Sub-County Police Commander Simon Loitiri said the crash involved a lorry heading towards Isinya and a matatu traveling from Kajiado to Kitengela. According to the preliminary police investigations, the lorry was speeding when the driver attempted to overtake another vehicle. In the process, it collided head-on with the matatu, killing 7 people on the spot. Several others sustained serious injuries and were rushed to hospital for treatment. Police and local authorities have appealed to motorists to exercise caution, avoid speeding, and observe traffic rules to prevent similar tragedies. Investigations into the incident are ongoing.
This happened that the driver of the said lorry failed to keep his proper traffic lane, hence causing head-on collision with a matatu. Now, at the scene, we collected 6 bodies, 2 men and 4 women. Now, the casualties were taken to Saitoti Hospital, and the report that we are getting, the driver of the matatu, at the moment, ameaga dunia. So that now adds up, the total adds up to 7.
Sio kupaka rangi. Kupaka rangi kwa barabara haiwezi saidia. Tunataka bumps kama 4 iwekwe. Ajali zimefanyika, ajali tangu ile mama mkuve. Hii ni ajali kama ajali ya 4.
Nilikuwa naenda Kitengela na hii Nissan ilikuwa Isinya, nikawa nataka kuipanda lakini ikawa imejaa.
Enyewe sisi tumechoka na hii barabara ya hapa Koroboi. Last week tumepoteza mama mwenda ambaye tunatembea na yeye, amepotea na mtoto. Leo tena tumepoteza zaidi ya watu 6. Swali ni rangi yenye mnatupakia ni ya nguo ama ni ya kuchukua watoto wetu? Swali ya pili ndio hii. Tutakuwa tunaona rangi kama bumps ya kuokoa wananchi ama tutakuwa tunaona bump ya kutetea damu ya watu?
Right, at the same time, the number of fatalities in the tragic bus accident on the Kisumu-Kakamega highway has increased to 26 following the death of one of the 5 critically injured passengers early this morning. Now, 28 others injured victims remain in stable condition and are scheduled for surgery now, with procedures expected to be completed today. Now, postmortem examinations on the deceased are underway and are anticipated to conclude by Monday. Now, the government has pledged to cover all medical expenses for the injured as well as burial cost for the victims. Now, the deceased were part of a 54-member group traveling from a burial ceremony in Kisumu West. Families of the victims are grappling with the shock and fear rather than grief, and they appealed for additional support as they mourn their sudden and tragic loss. Right, moving on, the African Medical and Research Foundation, that is AMREF, is mourning the loss of 4 of its dedicated staff members who perished in the tragic plane crash in Mwehoko that claimed 6 lives in total. The victims are all aboard the AMREF aircraft have been identified as Captain Muthuka Munuve, the chief pilot who hailed from the Czech Republic and had served the organization for 7 years. Captain Brian Kimani, a flight instructor and co-pilot who was nearing qualification as a Czech pilot. Now, Dr. Charles Mugonjoroge, a medical doctor providing emergency services, and Jane Omusula, a loyal emergency nurse committed to life-saving operations. According to AMREF, the loss represents a significant blow not only for the organizations but also to the nation at large. Now, the 4 were remembered for their bravery, commitment, and dedication to serving humanity, often taking to skies to heal, rescue, and deliver critical care to communities in need. In a statement, AMREF praised their courage and selflessness service, vowing that their legacy will live on.
This is an immense loss, not just to the AMREF Health Africa family, but to the entire nation. We honor the lives of Captain Muthuka Munuve, Captain Brian Kimani Miero, Dr. Charles Mogo Njoroge, and Nurse Jane Rispa Aluoch Omusula, who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to humanity. These were not just professionals, they were heroes. Captain Muthuka Munuve was the captain in this aircraft, served for nearly 7 years as a captain and Czech pilot, on both Cessna Citation XLS and the Pilatus PC-12 with over 10,000 hours of flying experience. Captain Brian Kimani Miaro was the co-pilot. He was an instructor and captain on the PC-12 and was transitioning to become a Czech pilot on the same aircraft. He had over 5,800 hours flight experience. Dr. Charles Mugonjeroge served for more than 7 years and was a dedicated medical doctor. The nurse, Jane Rispa Aluch Omusula, served as an emergency flight nurse for over 4 years and 8 months.
Right now, let's talk matters politics. And President William Ruto has brushed aside opposition calls for his tenure to end after a single term in 2027, saying such political rhetoric will not deter him from fulfilling his manifesto. Speaking during an economic empowerment event at State House Nairobi, the president stressed that the decision on who governs the country lies solely in the hands of Kenyans, not through political threats or pressure. Now, the president also launched a sharp criticism against those opposing the Hustler Fund, accusing them of being disconnected from the realities faced by the ordinary citizens. He highlighted that the program has already reached more than 26 million Kenyans, with 72 billion Kenya shillings disbursed as loans and over 5 billion Kenya shillings saved as deposits.
We will not succumb to the blackmail of one term. We will not succumb to the threats of one term. We are committed to the transformation of our nation. We are transforming our country. We are transforming our agriculture so that we can get rid of the shame of hunger. You have no plan. We are transforming our education so that no child is left behind. We are transforming our economy so that it becomes inclusive and Kenya can walk as one united nation. Mimi nataka niwaulize, wenye kuamua ni nyinyi ama ni wale? Nyinyi ndio mtaamua. Tamu ya mjumbe nani ataamua? Tamu ya MCA nani ataamua? Tamu ya mama county nani ataamua? Tamu ya rais nani ataamua? Sini nyinyi. Na mtaamua kulingana na kazi ya kila mtu. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Ati Nairobi mnasemaje? Mbona sijasikia my friends? Ati Nairobi mnasemaje? Ati basi.
Now, the United Opposition Coalition led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and DAP-K's Eugene Wamalwa has strongly criticized the government for what they describe as consistent violations of the Constitution and lack of transparency in compensating victims of protest-related violence. Now, speaking during a press conference in Mombasa, Musyoka questioned the credibility and clarity of the compensation process recently announced by the president for families who lost loved ones during peaceful demonstrations. While acknowledging the importance of compensating the victims, Musyoka emphasized that the process must be lawful, structured, and transparent.
We know that to these grieving Kenyan families, no amount of money can compensate the loss of their loved ones. So this is everybody is right. We are opposed to the manner in which they are trying to do it. And we are saying, and the process. Oh, we will be there. We will make sure that these Kenyans are compensated. By the way, there is no budgetary allocation. You cannot therefore jump up and say we'll pay Kenyans. They like to say 100,000 or 10 million. The amount that they will have to pay so that this country will be committed to constitutional order and conduct will be punitive. There's such a thing in law as punitive damages, including those people who committed these atrocities. So for that we have no doubt. This is why we set up the People's Restorative Justice Commission. They even do incredible things. They even type out on the African Union letterhead. I think that is bordering on crime. Okay, to say that William Ruto has consulted with the AU chairperson and both have decided to appoint me the honorary consul to Cote d'Ivoire. Now, some of these things are ridiculous. And that, I think, speaks to your second question. People may be in their own dreams talking about whom to talk to and whom to try to bring to their corner.
This day to the next election, it's going to be less than 2 years, beginning tomorrow. The countdown begins.
That's right.
So Kenyans must realize that in Homa Bay yesterday, the campaign for re-election of William Ruto began, with Raila Amolo Odinga making it clear he left us in Azimio and he joined the broad-based government. So far he has been dilly-dallying, giving false hope to those of us who are in Azimio that maybe one day he'll come back to the opposition, to the side of the people. Today, from his own mouth, yesterday in Homa Bay, we know that Raila Odinga will stand with William Ruto in 2027 and beyond. We want to ask Edwin Sifuna, we heard him say the other day, that if Raila Odinga is going to support William Ruto, that is the time he is going to depart.
All right, still matters politics. Anti-riot police on Saturday morning sealed off the gate and access roads leading to the home of Naivasha Member of Parliament Jane Kihara in Moraigushu, Naivasha, and that is in Nakuru County, in an apparent bid to prevent local leaders from visiting her. Now, the lawmaker accused the government of using intimidation tactics against her, vowing that she would neither be silenced nor back down from her political stance. Police officers at the scene told reporters that they were acting on orders from higher authorities, though they declined to give further details. The incident has heightened political tensions in the area, with Kihara's supporters condemning what they described as infringement on her rights as an elected leader.
And when I check with the OCS, he tells me that I should speak to the OCPD, who I have been trying to call since morning when I was told there's police outside my gate. And when I asked the OCS, he tells me that the information he has is that I have an illegal meeting in my house. This is my private property. I can host whoever I need. I had some guests, yes, who were coming. And they were coming to show solidarity in what has been happening to me. They have accused me. They have put me in police. And my voters and my friends said they want to come. In fact, they told me not to cook. They're going to come and cook. They want to be with me. But then, here we are. They can't come. There are roadblocks all over. This road, those who know it, has never had a roadblock. Now there are more than 3. You have seen police outside my gate. And when I talk to the officer in charge of this squad here, she's telling me they are on patrol. And since that, she has refused to talk to me. When I went down to the shopping center, you have seen how many they are. It is telling me I call the OCPD because I'm holding an illegal meeting. I want to tell them, I'm a citizen of this country. I know my rights. I've been elected by these people to represent them. I can host them. In fact, let Ruto know I have hosted him here. I have hosted him with more than 3,000 people, leave alone these 20 who are coming. So this is my private property. I don't see why and how. The whole squad. There's no police in town where they're supposed to be working. They are all over. That I should not host guests in my house. I'm not a prisoner.
All right, moving on, Manyata Member of Parliament Gitonga Mokonji has welcomed President William Ruto's recent move to form a committee tasked with compensating victims of protest dating back to 2017. Now speaking during a public event, Mokonji recounted his own arrest during recent anti-government demonstrations where he was detained at the Kahawa locals at a facility typically designed for handling terrorism cases. He expressed deep concern after witnessing very young children also being held at the same facility. Mokonji emphasized the need for clear boundaries and appropriate legal channels to ensure that all citizens, especially minors, are treated justly under the law. In a separate statement, the MP raised concerns about the government's digital services platform, that is e-Citizen. He claimed that the platform has incurred significant financial losses and called on the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is the EACC, to launch investigations.
And I want to caution leaders, tafadhali, the criminal justice system has a lot of work to do kuendea the innocent. Mimi waje niwaambie wazazi wale wako hapa. Nimepelekwa Kahawa low court. Hiyo ni low court ya terrorists. Mimi napata watoto wadogo, wengine underage, ati wao pia wameshtakiwa na terrorism. Yani sisi zile terrorists tumezoea ni watu ambao wanaitwa Osama bin Laden. Wale wanaua watu mamilioni. Tumezoea Al-Shabaab. Tumezoea watu wale wanapelekwa Guantanamo Bay kule US. Sasa saa hizi ati watoto Gen Z ndio wanaitwa terrorist. Kiongozi wa vijana Mokonji ati ndio anaitwa terrorist. I want to address and say clearly that nimeona leo a statement ikisema kuna mpango ya kutengeneza compensation ya wale watu waliumia katika maandamano. But in one side, huwezi ambia watu you want to compensate them, lakini on the other side unawaita terrorist kwa sababu ya kusimama na haki na kusimama na wananchi. Na mimi nataka kusema whatever is done in darkness itaonekana mwangazani. Na nimeona juzi katika magazeti platform ile tunalipia pesa ya e-Citizen, inasemekana pesa mingi sana zimepotea. Mimi ni mmoja wa wale wanasema that, and I'm asking EACC waamke watueleze over 40 billion haiwezi kuwa inapoteza katika ile mtandao, inachukua pesa ile inakolektiwa kama ushuru. Wakati hiyo platform ilikuja, ilikuwa ya kufanya pesa yoyote isipotee.
Right, moving on quickly for Pawanya, Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives in Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, together with Kipkelo West Member of Parliament Hilary Koskei, have strongly criticized former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for spreading what they described as cheap price propaganda during his recent visit to the United States. Now speaking at a public rally held in Sigoi, the two leaders dismissed Gachagua's threats to lodge complaints against the president with former US President Donald Trump as mere political theatrics aimed at gaining short-lived popularity. Oparanya has and Kosgei accused Gachagua of tarnishing Kenya's international reputation for personal political gain. They urged the former vice president to prioritize the nation's interest above fruitless political battles that serve no meaningful purpose.
Mtu ametangatanga huko Amerika na tumepata habari kuwa amekosa fare ya kurudi nyumbani. Munataka tuchangie ama saa ile yako huko amani iko Kenya aendelee kukaa? You cannot go selling cheap propaganda to Europeans. Hawa si watu ya Mlima Kenya wenye unawadanganya hapo. Wale ni wazungu wamesoma, wanajua hii nchi, wako na uhusiano wa kudumu. They have an ambassador in this country. When they have an issue, they have a channel to reach the president and to address those issues. They don't need a busybody in America.
Paka tuishi kwa amani, tuwe watulivu, tukiwa na peace, ndio hii mambo yote nimekuja kuongea hapa. Italeta nafuu, itakuwa vizuri kwako, italeta nafuu kwako kama mwananchi, tena kwa serikali, na serikali kuendesha mambo yake ya kusaidia nyinyi. Lakini hata inzi ikipita, William Ruto, ikipita William Ruto. Sasa unashangaa sasa William Ruto ametokea wapi hapa?
Right, members of the Mombasa County Assembly from the Orange Democratic Movement Party have reaffirmed their decision to appoint Priscilla Mema Mumba as the new majority leader, succeeding Adman Mwamiri. Now, the MCAs declared this decision final and binding, emphasizing that Mumba, former deputy speaker in the assembly, will assume her new leadership role immediately. In a statement signed by 24 MCAs and read by Abdurrahim Hussein, the MCA for Old Town, the group expressed concerns over an electronic letter sent by ODM Director Odur Ongwen. Now, the letter directed the Speaker of the County Assembly, Aharab Khatri, to postpone the implementation of the appointment pending a consultative meeting scheduled within 14 days. Despite this, the MCs insisted that senior party officials must respect and uphold the Assembly's leadership decisions without interference or delay. They warned against any attempts by party officials to undermine the county assembly autonomy, urging a timely execution of agreed resolutions.
Attempts by the ODM headquarters to intimidate, reverse, or interfere with this lawful decision are not only undemocratic, but also an affront to the sovereignty of the county assembly as an independent arm of the government. The letter dated 7th August from ODM Executive Director seeking to halt our decision is belated, misplaced, and has been rightfully dismissed by the Speaker as having been overtaken by events.
Hatuna vita na mtu yoyote, walakini ikiwa kuna vita ambavyo watu wanavitaka, pia sisi ni viongozi tumechaguliwa. Hatuja kuja hapa kusinzia, tumekuja hapa kufanya kazi, na kazi itafanywa na tutaendelea kuifanya hiyo kazi, na yoyote atakayehujumu jukumu la kaunti hii na kuleta kaunti hii iwe isipate manufaa, sisi tutaenda na yeye.
We will continue to carry out our mandates as per the constitution of the 2010 Kenya Constitution. We are all here as ODM members, solidly behind our new majority leader, who is Priscilla Mema Mumba, I must repeat. And as women, we appreciate the new position that she has acquired. We are happy, and we shall solidly support her role, to carry out her role effectively at the County Assembly of Mombasa.
All right, now let's get sporting. Preparations for the International Youth Day celebrations have gained momentum in Mombasa County, with the county government partnering with the Anti-Narcotics Department to bring together young people through sporting activities. Now speaking at the launch of the basketball tournament on Friday, Mombasa County Executive for Trade, Tourism and Culture, Mohammed Osman, said the county has allocated funds collected from liquor licensing fees to support youth development through sports. On his part, Kamisi Juma, a senior official in the same department, confirmed that a total of 37 basketball clubs have registered to participate in the tournament, which began today and will culminate in the finals on Sunday. Now, he added that matches will be held across all basketball courts in Mombasa County.
Department ya Trade, Tourism and Culture kupitia Likaport tunahakikisha kwamba hizi pesa ambazo tunaweza kukusanya katika hizi kodi za mabaa na license nini tumeweka katika mfuko mmoja, na hiyo mfuko ni kusaidia vijana kutoka katika hizi mambo ya hadharati nini na nini, na tunaweza kukuza michezo kama hii ya basketball. Ndio hivi tumejitolea katika hii ukumbusho na hii kusherehekea siku kuu ya vijana ambayo itafanyika tarehe 12 ya kukumbusha kwamba tumeweka vijana pamoja, na hizi social halls ambazo tuko nazo katika county ni social hall karibu 9. tumepatiwa jukumu kama Likabod ya kuhakikisha kwamba hizi socials vijana wanapata fursa ya kuja kuonyesha talanta zao.
Government of Mombasa, we are going to mark this day on 12th, and there will be a procession from Sabasaba, and the final point of that procession will be here at Tononoka Social Hall. Leo pia vile vile tunafanya uzinduzi wa basketball tournament in which kuna timu around 37 basketball clubs wame-register under the Mombasa County Basketball Association. Na michuano hii yataanza kesho hapa Mvita. Kule Likoni tuko na viwanja viwili ambavyo county government wamejenga, na pia Chaani. Hizi tournament zote zitafanyika kesho, na finali ya tournament hizi zitakuwa Jumapili ambazo zitafanyika hapa. Pia vile vile tumeweza kupeana jazi ambazo ni uniform. Tuko na uniform 40 pairs ambazo tutapeana kwa hizi clubs. Pia vile vile tumepeana mipira 300 to our primary schools kuboresha michezo katika vijana wetu ambao wanakwenda shule kuanzia lower level until grade 9, I think so.
Tumealika vijana wote wa Mombasa na wa mashirika na vijana katika hizi youth associations ili tuje tutembee pamoja kuanzia Sabasaba mpaka hapa Tononoka Social Hall. Tutakapofika katika ukumbi huu wa Tononoka, tutakuwa na midahalo ambako tumealika baadhi ya watu ili kuzungumzia na kuangazia masuala ya mihadarati, masuala ya elimu, career guidance, masuala ya michezo na masuala ya kiuchumi. Vipi vijana wataweza kuenuka kiuchumi, halikadhalika pia na masuala ya fursa zilizopo za kulingana na masuala ya ajira katika kaunti ya Mombasa na serikali na mashirika yote kwa ujumla.
Right, at the same time, security officers hailing from Rabai have called on local youth to embrace peace and prioritize education as their foundation for future success. Now, under the banner of Rabai Crew Welfare, the officers have launched a community awareness campaign using football as a tool to reach young people across the wards of Mwawesa, Ruruma, Kisurutini and Mwakirunge. Now, according to Humphrey Mwadzala, the executive secretary of the welfare group, the initiative is focused on educating youth about the dangers of indiscipline while also addressing early pregnancies and low education levels among the teens in the region. Take a look.
Nafikiri lengo la kuanzisha ligi kama hii ni kwamba kuleta vijana pamoja, kuleta wazee pamoja, kuleta mandugu pamoja, sana sana tukiangazia swala la usalama. Na fikiri tukirudi hapo nyuma kulikuwa na tatizo fulani hivi la kiusalama, na labda tulichagua mawili matatu, tukaona labda hii ni njia moja hapo ya kuleta vijana ambapo labda tunaweza wa-engage angalau kuepukana na vitu kama hizo za kuleta utovu wa nidhamu.
So, mihadarati si kitu kizuri. Hata wenye wanatumia, tunawaomba. Najua haijatiki kwa mara moja, lakini kidogo. Endeni pole pole. Nimesikia mwalimu akisema story ya kazi. Sawa, sisi tunaweza kufikia watu wetu kazi. Lakini elimu uko vipi? Umesoma, umehitimu. Bali na elimu, discipline yako iko vipi? Unaweza kuwa good footballer hapa, unapiga mwingi kabisa, lakini kwa discipline hakuna.
Boda kule kwa wenzetu kule, yani yeye anaendesha bodaboda lakini anatafuta school fees. Kifika weekend hapo anaingia class. Sawa? Ama yeye ni bodaboda lakini ana save. After 2 years hakuna hata bodaboda yake. In a span of 5 years yeye ameandika watu sasa. Yeye sasa amekuwa kama tajiri. Tunakuwa na malengo. Kitu cha mwisho kama sisi kama vijana upande wa mihadarati. Drugs unaweza kuwa wewe kweli ni bright hapa kwa kichwa. Kichwa chako bright kabisa. Lakini sasa hii drug sasa iku drug in the wrong way. Umeelewa hapo? Hata Mungu bado umesoma umepata B+, B+.
Right, it is exactly 30 minutes past the top of the hour. That will not wrap up our program here on EBN Weekend Edition. My name is Martin Macharia. Do have yourself a good night. Remember to go to church tomorrow, and as always, let's do this again when God says we do.